Hey there and welcome back to Mass Effect. My name is Pete and today we complete the third and final part of Virmire. The last episode featured the big reveal, and we learned that the evil mastermind that we should be hunting might not necessarily be Saren himself, but instead his ship Sovereign, which turned out to be a Reaper. Sovereign is apparently not the only Reaper, and all of them are hellbent on destroying all organic life in the galaxy, for reasons that have not yet become quite clear.
The Geth are turning from your position, J.I.T.O. Looks like Shadow kicked a sensitive.
After our little conversation with Sovereign, we now have to make our way to the bomb site, where the plan is to place and detonate a bomb that will destroy Saren's facility here on Virmire. Until we can get there, we still have to dispose of a few enemies in our way, for example this group of 3 Krogan here. One way to deal with them is to make extensive use of the lift ability, which can result in an instant kill if it's combined with throw, or if it's timed correctly and used when one of the Krogan is charging. Now, maybe in preparation for the upcoming events in this episode, I would like to direct your attention on the whole indoctrination thing. Indoctrination and mind control in general were always an underlying theme so far, but especially in the last episode we learned about the true powers of Reaper indoctrination. Basically, the Reapers have the power to influence organic minds, to an extent which basically turns those organic beings into mindless slaves. That control, however, always needs to be balanced out against usefulness, as the more the controlled being becomes indoctrinated, the less capable it becomes. I will talk a bit more about indoctrination and the Reapers whenever we have a few minutes. For now, let's focus on the fight that has just broken out. This right here can be one of the tougher fights on Virmire, especially if you used your lift on the Krogan enemy, because now, unless you have Liara in your squad, you're lacking a few abilities that will help take out the 2 Geth Stalkers and the 1 Geth Ghost here. Now, throw works to some extent, and simply holding down the fire button also has its effect, but lift or singularity generally produce superior results. Now, you may have heard it in the background a few moments ago. Rex was commenting on the large anti-air gun attached to the building that we're now close to. That anti-air gun currently still prevents a meetup with the Normandy, and so after looting the 2 crates here, our job is to now shut that turret down. Before we do, let's not forget about the supply container on the wall here, and then we can deactivate the AA turret and are immediately greeted by reinforcements. Taking these 2 Geth troopers out shouldn't be too much of a problem at this point, but we also shouldn't take too long because there are more enemies coming up in the elevator. Once again though, these are more or less served on a silver platter and decimated in just a few seconds. Now let's once again get back to indoctrination for a bit. One more thing that we learned in the last episode was that indoctrination is a very subtle process. Oftentimes, those under the effect of indoctrination don't realize it until it's too late, which of course makes indoctrination a very powerful weapon. And this subtlety of the indoctrination process should be kept in mind, especially in regards to Saren.
That's it. We need to clear the Geth and set those charges.
Now back to the action at hand. 2 Geth Stalkers block the way here, but one can be disabled with a lift while the other one catches a throw to the face, and the whole fight here shouldn't take longer than just a few seconds.
Charges set. Everyone bunker down. Bunker down.
Now the rendezvous with the Normandy and the crew is next, even though I seem to recall that in this area here another pretty tough firefight was supposed to take place. That might have been on the console version though.
Commander, I'm bringing us in. I'll get as close to the site as I can.
Bomb is in position. We're all set here.
Commander, can you read me?
Yes, loud and clear.
The nuke is almost ready. Get to the rendezvous point, Williams.
Negative, Commander. The Geth have us pinned down on the AA tower. We've taken heavy casualties. We'll never make the rendezvous point in time.
Well, with the anti-air defenses now taken out, we could send the Normandy over.
Get them out of there, Joker. Now!
Negative. It's too hot. Can't risk it. We'll hold them off as long as we...
It's okay, Commander. I need a couple of minutes to finish arming the bomb. Go get them and meet me back here.
Alright, seems like we have a few minutes. Time to fight more Geth then.
Up to the AA tower. Move!
Since Kaidan is arming the bomb, he is currently unavailable as a squad member, but we definitely need a biotic in our squad that is a bit more capable than Rex, and therefore Liara now joins us. Tali is added for her tech expertise, but Garrus would be a suitable alternative. Now this next fight can once again be extremely hard depending on your level and the squad members you go in with. We have up against us 2 Krogan warriors, 2 Geth ghosts and a Krogan warlord. That is an elite group of enemies, and we are using Singularity immediately to at least take out the ghosts. Their mobility combined with the assassination ability makes them very dangerous opponents, arguably a lot more unpredictable than the Krogan. The main thing we have to avoid with the Krogan themselves is to have them engage us all at once, as that can decimate our squad, especially Liara and Tali, very quickly. Instead, we want to use as much crowd control as possible, and always keep in mind, killing a Krogan mid-air makes sure it doesn't get back up. The Krogan warlord remains as probably the toughest enemy in the group, but even he cannot stand against our combined forces for long. And so, all we have to do now is take the elevator at the end here and move up to the AA tower. That also gives us enough time for Reaper X Course number 3, this time concerning a question that might come to mind after our conversation with Sovereign. Sovereign specifically stated that the Reaper's goal was to exterminate all organic life. Emphasis, organic. That now leaves us with the question how the Geth are involved, as they are of course not an organic race.
It appears the Geth have sent reinforcements.
Heads up, LT. We just spotted the troop ship headed to your location.
It's already here. There's Geth pouring out all over the bomb site.
Any chance you might be able to stay put for a few minutes?
Can you hold them off?
There's too many. I don't think we can survive until you get here. I'm activating the bomb.
You're doing what now?
What the hell are you doing, Alenko?
I'm just making sure this bomb goes off, no matter what. It's done, Commander. Go get Williams and get the hell out of here.
Screw that. We can handle ourselves. Go back and get Alenko.
Alright, and this is the point in the game where we have to decide who lives and who dies. It has become quite obvious that we cannot save both Ashley and Kaidan, and so we have to make a choice. And I'm going with Kaidan in this playthrough, not because I don't like Ashley, but because we're playing as a soldier and we're romancing Liara, and so Ashley sadly isn't all that useful to us, neither as a squad member nor as a romance option.
Alenko, radio Joker and tell him to meet us at the bomb site.
Yes, Commander.
You know it's the right choice, LT.
We will however send Ashley off with 2 more renegade points. I think that is the least we can do.
Fight hard, Chief. Die proud.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Okay, back to the bomb site it is then, even though the decision we just had to make definitely leaves a sour taste. And I have to admit this decision was a lot harder for me than it seemed. My very first playthrough of the entire trilogy I played with Ashley instead of Kaidan, and I also chose Ashley over Liara as the romance option, and so over the course of those, well, 150 hours maybe, I grew somewhat accustomed to her presence by Shepard's side. The completionist in me though wants what's best for the squad, and I have used Kaidan quite a lot so far, which ultimately gave him the edge. Now back at the bomb site we run right into a shootout between the Geth and our forces, and the Geth have certainly brought the heavy artillery. Next to a destroyer and the Juggernaut, one of the enemies attacking us is a Geth Prime, which is, excluding the Armature and the Colossus, definitely the toughest Geth unit in the game. The Prime also has a rather inconvenient access to damping, which shut down all of her tech and biotic abilities for a while. After a few moments, both Liara and Tali have regained access to their abilities, and so we can immediately hit the Geth Prime with a lift and then fire away to finally take it out. One more sniper remains, and once we have taken care of that one, a small surprise awaits.
Commander, set that nuke and get out. We can't hold them.
applaud you, Shepard. My Geth were utterly convinced the Salarians were the real threat. An impressive diversion. Of course, it was all for nothing. I can't let you disrupt what I've accomplished here. You can't possibly understand what's really at stake.
Well, if you'd be so kind, feel free to enlighten us.
Why are you doing this?
You've seen the vision from the beacons, Shepard. You of all people should understand what the Reapers are capable of. They cannot be stopped. Do not mire yourself in pointless revolt. Do not sacrifice everything for the sake of petty freedoms. The Protheans tried to fight, and they were utterly destroyed. Trillions dead. But what if they had bowed before the invaders? Would the Protheans still exist? Is submission not preferable to extinction?
Well, apparently the Reapers have been destroying organic life for thousands of years. Do you really think no one else has thought of that before? And even then, do you honestly believe it would work?
Do you really believe the Reapers will let us live?
Now you see why I never came forward with this to the Council. We organics are driven by emotion instead of logic. We will fight even when we know we cannot win. But if we work with the Reapers, if we make ourselves useful, think how many lives could be spared. Once I understood this, I joined Sovereign. Though I was aware of the dangers, I had hoped this facility could protect me.
And here the knowledge we gain from Rana Thanoptis comes into play. There is definitely a part of Saren that is afraid that he himself is becoming indoctrinated, and we will use that against him more than once in this conversation.
You're afraid Sovereign is influencing you. You're afraid he's controlling your thoughts.
I've studied the effects of indoctrination. The more control Sovereign exerts, the less capable the subject becomes. That is my saving grace. Sovereign needs me to find the conduit. My mind is still my own, for now. But the transformation from ally to servant can be subtle. I will not let it happen to me.
And now maybe we can finally get an answer from the man himself. What exactly is the conduit?
Tell me why Sovereign needs the conduit. Tell me what it is. Maybe we can find a way to stop it.
The conduit is the key to your destruction and my salvation. Sovereign needs my help to find it. That is the only reason I have not been indoctrinated.
Well, at least it looks like our complete annihilation is not as certain as it seemed earlier, which of course makes finding the conduit for ourselves that much more of a priority.
Why are the Geth following Sovereign?
They believe Sovereign to be some kind of god, the pinnacle of their own evolution. But the reaction of their deity is most telling. It is insulted. Sovereign does not desire the pitiful devotions the Geth hurl at it. They are just tools, and no amount of belief on their part will change that. But as tools, they are useful. They will survive the coming invasion. If organic life is to survive, we must also prove we are useful. We must work with the Reapers.
And once again, spoken like someone who is very subtly being manipulated by indoctrination himself.
Sovereign's manipulating you and you don't even know it. You're already under its power.
No, Sovereign needs me. If I find the conduit, I've been promised a reprieve from the inevitable. This is my only hope.
Now, this conversation here will lead to a firefight no matter what. However, what we say here has an influence on a later conversation in the game, and so for 2 renegade points, let's put a bit more pressure on Saren.
Don't you see? You're just a tool. Sovereign's using you. In the end, you'll be tossed aside with all the rest.
Do you think you can sway me, Shepard? Do you think I haven't already thought of this? Sovereign is a machine. It thinks like a machine. If I can prove my value, I become a resource worth maintaining. There is no other logical conclusion.
But even if you succeed in becoming such a valuable resource, there is no guarantee that changes anything about the fate of organic life as a whole.
You were a Spectre. You were sworn to defend the galaxy. Then you broke that vow to save yourself.
I'm not doing this for myself. Don't you see? Sovereign will succeed. It is inevitable. My way is the only way any of us will survive. I'm forging an alliance between us and the Reapers. between organics and machines. And in doing so, I will save more lives than have ever existed. But you would undo my work. You would doom our entire civilization to complete annihilation. And for that, you must die.
Alright, firefight, and let's start things off with a bang. On his little hoverboard, Saren is immune to crowd control biotics, which means the only biotic attack that really makes sense to use is warp. That, however, certainly has an effect, as Saren's health bar depletes quite rapidly.
I can't believe that Ash didn't make it. How could we just leave her down there?
Well, saving both of you sadly wasn't really an option.
Williams knew the risks going in. She gave her life to save the rest of us.
But why me? Why not her?
Maybe because you have a slightly more useful skill set, but I doubt that is what he wants to hear now.
It wasn't your call, Alenko. I had to choose. I chose you.
But if I'd done my job, you wouldn't have had to make that call.
Well, I would say it's quite obvious who's really responsible for her death.
It wasn't your fault. It wasn't my fault. The only one to blame here is Saren.
Yes, sir, We'll get it done.
Commander, excuse me for interrupting, but I have an idea. I think the beacon you found in Saren's base was similar to the one you found on Eden Prime. It may have filled in the missing pieces of your vision. I might be able to help you put all those pieces together.
Well, it sort of worked once, we might as well try it again.
You want to join our minds again, don't you? Okay, go ahead.
Relax, Commander. Embrace eternity. I never thought the images would be so intense. I need a moment to collect myself.
Very kind of you to increase the tension here a bit, but please feel free to share what you just saw.
Did the vision make any sense to you?
It's a distress call. A message sent out across the Prothean Empire. A warning against the Reapers, but the warning came too late.
Well, if you ask me, that doesn't seem all that helpful.
What about the conduit?
There were other images. Locations, places I recognized from my research. Ilos! The conduit is on Ilos! That is why Saren needed to find the Mu relay. It is the only way to get to Ilos.
And I assume you're realizing that connection now for the first time.
How come you never told us about Ilos before?
The Mu relay links to dozens of systems and hundreds of worlds. How was I to know Ilos was the one we wanted? Without the cipher, the images in your visions were never clear. Only now do I recognize them as landmarks from Ilos.
Then I suppose our course is set, right?
We need to get to Ilos.
Forget it. The Mu relay's inside the Terminus systems. Alliance ships are not welcome there. Neither are Spectres.
I think whether or not we receive a warm welcome is really not part of the equation here.
The conduit's on Ilos, and that's where Saren is heading. I'll be waiting for him when he gets there.
Saren will have his entire fleet orbiting Ilos. You will never make it down to the surface without reinforcements. You must alert the Council. We need a fleet to... I am sorry. The joining is exhausting. I should go to the medical bay and lie down for a moment.
By the way, here we have the exact same conversation options that we have after the first joining of our minds with Liara. So let's not explore those again and instead send her off immediately.
We're done here. Dismissed.
Commander, there's a comm buoy nearby. I can link us in if you want to report back to the Citadel Council. You know, to warn them about Sovereign.
And we definitely want to do that because we can get up to 4 morality points from that conversation.
Set the link up, Joker. They need to know.
Patching it through.
Commander Shepard, I'm pleased to see your mission on Virmire was a success.
Saren is formidable enough without an army of Krogan serving under him.
Yeah, I would stop worrying too much about Saren, to be honest.
The Krogan would have served Sovereign. A Reaper.
Yes, we saw mention of this on your report. Sovereign, Ascension machine, a true artificial intelligence. This news is quite alarming, if it turns out to be accurate.
Considering the fact that we personally talked to the thing, I would say it is accurate.
Sovereign's a Reaper. Saren admitted it.
He's playing you, Shepard. Saren still has contacts on the Citadel. He probably saw your earlier reports, the ones talking about your vision and the Reapers.
It's highly possible Saren is using false information to throw you off balance. Our own intelligence has never turned up any corroborating information.
Now, the you need proof option would give us 2 Paragon points and then quickly end the conversation, but there is another way to get not only 2 Renegade points but also 2 Paragon points as well, and we will instead take that.
I tried to warn you about Saren. You didn't believe me then, and look how that turned out.
I believe you humans have a saying. Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
And screw you is the option here that will reward us with 2 Renegade points.
Here's another saying. Go to hell.
Maybe we were wrong about you, Shepard. Maybe humans are too hot-headed to be specters.
Enough! Commander Shepard has performed admirably so far. This discussion is only a minor disagreement.
And if we go with the topmost answer here, that is the option that gives us 2 Paragon points, allowing us to get the most morality points possible out of this conversation.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have to take something I say on faith, Counselor.
Try to see this from our perspective, Commander. Saren is a threat we can recognize. However, as far as we know, the Reapers only exist in your visions.
Our decisions affect trillions of lives. We cannot act on the accusations of a single person, even a Spectre. Not without solid evidence.
The Council cannot take any official action here. That is why we created the Spectres. You have the authority to act as you see fit.
If you truly believe Sovereign is the real threat, you must take whatever steps are necessary to stop it. And Saren.
Good luck, Commander. From all of us.
Alright, and that is Virmire completed. I would say we now have a much better understanding of what we're up against, and also a glimmer of hope on how to stop it. So we will continue the fight against Sovereign in the upcoming episode. Until then, I can say thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.